how it's taken off. And because of our efforts and your effort and everything you do, and we do together with Ted Mendoza and all our coaches and everything that's happening, I just,
So let me talk a little bit about the coaching.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this program today, I want to invite you to join us because I am personally training coaches to be certified in not only the hero ethos, but also in the skills that you need to be a facilitator. I'm going to train you in group dynamics. This is something that I've done in corporate America and training corporations to work as teams. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about how to read the energy in the room, the students, so that you are very effective in connecting with all the students. I'm also going to train you as a certified hero coach in platform skills, which means that how to speak with confidence, how to inspire, and how to ignite the hero in these students, because there's skills that you need to have in order to do that. And I'm a former trainer of the Dale Carnegie School of Public Speaking, the world's premier coaching program in public speaking. Also, I'm going to teach you how to use persuasive language, how to be able to package the hero message in such a way that students cannot refute it, or they cannot dispute it in their mind to where they're battling their mind and they're battling you as an instructor. It's like, I'm going to teach you the science of persuasion. So you're going to get a lot of training. If you are ready or in the field of sales, public speaking, if you're in the leadership position, you're going to escalate your skills to another level, and we're going to use your skills in order to help children, future leaders of America.
That's right. And we have platforms for you to join, to gain these leadership. The leadership is within you. And so we have platforms such as high schools, apartment complexes. We have areas, and now the greatest and the latest is the Hero Team Talks, which is happening the first Friday of every month. The first Friday, 5:30 p.m. until 8 o'clock, we are inviting teenagers from the ages of 13 to 18 to meet Conchita Reyes, Coach Luis Bueno. We have many coaches that are going to be out there just empowering our youth. Today, more than ever, we need to come together to empower our youth today, to rise them up to be the leaders. With that said, we know that there's been lots of talk about mental health. And it's very important right now more than ever that we educate our community, educate parents, educate our students about the mindset, the growth mindset. In the meantime, I want to introduce you to someone who is a friend, a community partner. Yeah, someone that I worked together. I had the honor of working with Stephen Thomas over at HISD during my time as a wraparound there. And you were very just helpful. I mean, anytime I needed something to come talk to the parents, he made his services available. And today, you're the community director of United Health.
Human Services.
Human Services.
Correct.
United Human Services.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
It's been years.
What are you seeing in the world of mental health right now? What are you seeing in the schools? Because you're in the schools primarily, right?
Correct.
Okay, talk to us.
I see a change. I'm glad that the media is actually, when you watch TV right now, you hear about mental health,
Correct.
mental health. And I've seen a shift within the minority community. Mm-hmm. They are now buying into mental health. Mm-hmm. Mental health has always been a taboo in our community, so we have been pushing that to let them know it's okay to get your mental health checked. And that's what we do, and that's what we've been doing. There's been an increase of parents wanting to sign up their kids for services that we provide. So it's a huge change right now.
Absolutely. And so With that said, when we refer to the mental health, just for the audience and the watching, when you refer to mental health, tell us about the top 2 to 3 things that you're seeing among children today.
Prior to COVID, before COVID, we know the issues were there. And COVID made it worse because we ended up staying at home for 2 years. And that's why I had an increase in domestic violence, child abuse, and divorce rate went up because folks were not used to seeing each other 24/7 for 2 years. And then you had a situation where all kids were at home doing their classes online. And that was a trauma for them too.
Oh, I know.
They're not used to that. You were there, so you know. So after COVID, all kids, all family, everybody lost their social skills. We lost it. So when the kids came back, they didn't know how to deal with each other anymore.
It's right here.
Exactly. So most of our kids, like I always say, social media is a plus and a minus. It's a curse and a blessing. Our kids spent 2 years on social media. A lot of stuff happened on social media. So it's hard for them to see what is right and what's everything on social media is right. For us as an adults, we struggle to filter what's right and what's fake news. So imagine the kids. So when they came back to school, they lost their social skills. Now you have a lot of bullying that was taking place. That was one of the biggest things that happened when these kids came back. And you have a lot of kids cutting. Most of these kids lost their self-esteem as a human being, and they were looking for attention. And when they're getting the attention at the wrong area.
Talk to some of the viewers as to what cutting means. Many people don't know what that means. You want to share that?
I mean, cutting is when a child doesn't feel good about himself or herself, and she feels like the only way she can derive some satisfaction within herself is to use a razor blade and cut herself. She might do it in the bathroom. And she covers
I
it
actually
up.
want to get a little granular on this because I'm a subject matter expert in this. What
Correct.
happens is the child is dissociated from their body and they feel nothing. They feel nothing, and pain is an alternate to feeling nothing. So the cutting, the pain reconnects the person to
they're
their
feeling.
consciousness in their body.
Correct.
And so again, this is just one avenue for that children take to be able to reconnect in their body. And so again, we are faced with a crisis to where children are numb. Children are numb, walking around like zombies because they've been through so much trauma and because, again, they're disconnected. It's like their mind is disconnected, their body is disconnected, and so we need to take immediate action. This is a crisis.
Yes, it is. And also you have kids that indulge in illicit drugs. That's another way to feel good for themselves.
And real quick, what drugs are you seeing like right now?
a lot
Because
of kids are vaping.
they're vaping a lot.
They're vaping a lot. And I've seen kids. I've heard of kids at 12 years old, 11 years old vaping. And this is as a result of what's going on within. And that's why it's very, very important that parents and adults in this kid's life should be able to be aware of these things that are happening within them to actually have a conversation with these children.
Right.
Because the issues that we're having is that
Again, I want to interrupt you because this is so critical. Parents, if you're watching this, if your kids underage are starting to use drugs, marijuana, any kind of drug, what is happening is you are stopping the developmental of the brain.
Correct.
You are stopping it. You're interrupting it. And that person is going to grow up deficient of a full set of neural connections in order
Right.
to deal with life.
Correct.
So this is so critical that is one of the driving forces behind Teen Talks is we want to bring awareness. We want to work with teens that have already started to go down this path so that we head it off at the pass so that we don't continue to suffer and children and families continue to suffer down this path.
So just like Victor said, we have the Teen Talk, and just to let you know, just more about Hero. Hero is a growth mindset. We teach children how to be helpful, encouraging, respectful on task at home, school, the community, and most importantly, themselves.
Correct.
This is for asking for help, right? Because resources, just as United Human Services are here, there's so many resources available to our families, and we teach students to how to ask for help and basically how to take that initiative to drive in purpose because it increases self-esteem. There's so many theories that are connected with the actual the proven, our program here with Hero together.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's Hero. We provide a huge education platform. But again, we know that this platform is not something, it's a partnership
It's
platform.
a network.
It's a network.
We are bringing subject matter experts together. We're bringing in coaches that have life experience. They've lived through this. They worked through this. They learned the lesson so that your children do not have to go down this path.
Correct. So what happens is basically what we encourage and what the program with the network or Hero program can break the cycle. We teach breaking the cycle because again, and these days now, as you know, children are just medicated, giving them a pill and saying, hey, you're ADHD because you can't sit down, you're too fidgety. Send them outside, climb a tree.
Correct.
I did that. Growing up, we had to climb a tree. I felt every pebble on the floor, on the ground, Stephen. And now it's like kids are just caught up inside, isolated, no interaction. They can interact. We go into schools sometimes, and we've been into several schools throughout Pasadena, Houston, Pasadena, everywhere. And these kids are just like, we talk to them, we engage to them, and there's no responses, there's no answer, there's no engagement.
The other thing, they've been conditioned to having boring teachers that they themselves are struggling. The teachers are struggling themselves. And so they lack that unique motivation, that drive, that force, that fire in order to have that kind of energy in the classroom. And so, Vicky, that when we get these kids in the same classrooms with Hero instructors, it's a totally different dynamic.
Totally different.
Talk about that.
No, it's what you said is very, very important. And your program is very, very important and well needed. It's about that village.
Yes.
It's very, very important that we go back to the fundamentals of that village. So what you all have done over the years with the Hero, and I've worked with you over the years, you have to have that compassion, that love and care for these kids to see it. That's why when I talk to educators, I said when school comes, but when you come back from Thanksgiving, Christmas, or spring break, please, if you can take that first day of class and say, how was your Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yeah.
How was your Christmas?
Yeah.
You'll have 20 kids to raise their hand, want to talk to you about what they did. And I said, teachers and educators and adults in the room, out of 20, 18 raise their hand. 2 may not raise their hand. Pay attention. Talk to those 2 students that did not raise their hand, probably didn't have a good Thanksgiving, they didn't have a good Christmas, and then find out what's going on.
Sure.
You'll learn a lot from them. It's about that village. That's why I tell parents, you have to be an advocate for your child.
Yes.
When you see little things, you see your child's behavior, because we know, we're all parents. We know when the kids start withdrawing, nip it in the bud. Be a parent, because the greatest thing that we have is our children. No matter how much work we put out there, how much money we make, our children are priceless.
Correct.
Yes.
So we have to get involved. So what Hero does is bring this thing to forefront, to the light, and that's why I appreciate what you all do as heroes.
Yeah.
And you always get resources, try to reach out and say, hey, this person's going through this, Stephen, I need your help here. How can we help this family? And that's what Hero does, and you all do an excellent job in doing this.
Yeah, we do constant outreach. We just met with someone, and there's another meeting today that I haven't even spoken to Victor. But Victor, we will be going into the Willow Creek Apartments, Patricia Manor Apartments. They're in the southeast side of Houston, and it's the village, you said.
Yes.
And someone said, bring it in here. Bring it in here. You've got full access, and because again, it starts at home.
Yeah.
And our teachers struggle. Our teachers are struggling today more than ever to maintain the grasp the attention. There's such a lack of disrespect at times with the students where it's like, I don't need to listen. I don't need to, I'm going to stay on my phone.
It's even worse, Vicky. Remember that one teacher that told us that she gets cursed out by students? And again, that's considered normal. It's like, no, we have a serious problem.
Yeah.
Yep, we have a serious problem. And then when you address the situation, there's some parents that will actually say, go off on the teacher and say it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not taking ownership and teaching children not to take on ownership. It's just
It's just
it's
bad.
running rampant.
Yes.
It's running rampant where there's
Remember that one school we went to that the teachers are afraid to tell the students to not come to school in pajamas, okay?
oh, we've had that.
Yeah. I've seen
We've
that.
had-
So again, friends, we have a crisis. We need to break the glass because we need to do something. Doing nothing is not a solution.
And so what Hero does is basically, we bring back values into, and it's nonpartisan, non-religion.
Correct.
We believe in, we've taken this to several communities, the program, and they say, we love it. We love what you're doing. We love the way, because again, not only did these children need to be educated, but they need to be empowered through activities,
Correct.
empowered by saying you're a hero. This weekend, Stephen, we took our little ones, about 30 of them, packed them in. We stopped over at this at an event with an organization called LULAC, because there were
LULAC.
yeah, LULAC. So I'm the chaplain for LULAC. And again, so what we did was basically bring the children in and made our point to say that the children need to be thought of through every decisions, whether it's political, whether it's, faith-based, whatever it is. Right now is the time that we advocate for the children. They are the future. Right now, I see things happening, and I know because it's happened to me.
Correct.
Brother, as a single woman, we want security. As a single woman, we are just, hey, let's, not for anything. I'm not going to say, we've got to do better when it comes to choosing partners, right? Like you said, said something.
Yeah.
How the single homes are falling apart. How people, and parents are still looking for that love. Well, they got to give the love to their children, right?
Correct.
And so there's so many barriers that children have these days, whether it's language barriers, whether it's transportation, food disparities, there's barriers that they're facing every day.
Yep.
And if they're not facing it, their friend can be facing it.
Correct. Yeah.
So we teach them in our Hero program how to keep an eye set on your brothers and your sisters or your friends or your neighbors. We've gone into places, Victor, tell them, where they don't even know who they are. They've been in class, the same class, and they don't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know their schoolmates, okay? They don't know some of the personal history of the schoolmates. And so, again, we are very connected to a
media.
fantasy world. This is fantasy. This is not reality, okay? When students begin to know each other and they begin to see that they're really all in the same boat, they're really all facing versions of the same problem, that's when we can begin to have that awakening, that aha kind of moment. Is like, I'm not alone. He or she is, I can relate to that. He or she is going through what I'm going. And what happens scientifically is the mirror receptors begin to light up and begin to develop empathy. Okay,
and
so
that's why.
so again, we need to get away from this fantasy.
Correct.
This is not real. This is a fantasy that has isolated us and has disconnected us from our own humanity and from our community and families.
But that's where we, as a community, like Hero, like what I do a lot of speaking engagements. at
You're a
churches.
hero to heroes.
So exactly. So when I talk to parents, we have to be accountable for each other. We have to look past you're Mr. Jones, you're Mr. Luke, you're Hernandez, you're Smith, and realize that we're all one.
Yes.
And I give this example. There's 3 of us here, for example. Let's say we all have 5 children each. That's 15. And then you raise your kids the old school way of raising your kids. And I didn't raise my kids the old school way. Now my 5 kids wouldn't know how to handle conflict resolution. Your kids are doctors, engineers, teachers, well, members of society. Mine is not. Guess what? When there's a fight on the street, what's going to happen? My child would do harm to that child that has been raised the proper way.
Sure.
But if you see that I'm struggling and you say, Mr. Stephen, hey, I see you struggling with your kids out there. Do you need some help? And you do help me. Guess what? We will have 15 healthy children in the village.
Sure. It reminds me of that African proverb.
That's it.
The child that does not feel the warmth of the village will grow up to burn it down.
Burn down. That's true.
So
true.
again, that one child that is being ignored and bullied and his or her needs not being cared for, that child is on a path towards self-destruction or destruction of others or ending up in the criminal justice system. This was the message that I gave to students because I had some rule-breaking, defiant kids that I said, your behavior today by breaking the rules, if you don't change that, you are on path to being the criminal justice system. So it was shocking, and some of them started to boo me. But I said, I'm going to demonstrate it for you. So I got some of those little wise, smart Alex up to the front. And again, I showed how weak they were.
Yep.
But as a little clique, they seem to be very strong.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it's that simple rule breaking, disrespect. And so, believe me, I opened up a can of respect on them, and they got the lesson. The majority did.
They did. But you see, most of the issues, 90% of the issues we see in society or in our schools stems from home.
It's at home. It's at home.
And when I talk to parents, when I have coffee with a principal or at an event, I always give them some challenges. 1 month challenge. And they say, what do you mean, Stephen? I said, I'll give you a few challenges for you to adopt for 1 month. If you do it, you'll see a difference in your child. You see, we've gone out of the way. We don't tell our kids we love them. I said, tell your kids how much you love them every day for 1 month. The first week, they're going to think you're crazy. Second week, what's wrong with mom or dad? Third week, okay, sinking in. Fourth week, they start believing.
Yes.
Second, tell them how intelligent they are. If you tell them that for 4 weeks straight, they'll start believing in themselves. Thirdly, tell them how handsome, how beautiful they are. Because you're giving affirmation, that's what I tell parents.
Yeah.
And you do that for 1 month, they'll start believing on themselves.
That's right.
And next thing I always tell them, I said, look, you know what? Give your kids hugs. We don't give hugs no more.
Yes.
Lastly, I said, ask your kid, how was your day? If you can ask the child how was his day or her day, she will tell you.
Yes.
If you can do these 5 things for 1 month, when that child goes to the school,
You have a different mindset.
A different mindset.
Yes.
Oh, can I just? No, you don't belong here. You ugly. Oh no, my mama said I'm handsome. My mom, you built that child.
They
up.
begin to repeat that in their heads, and those become self-affirmations.
Affirmations, correct.
Dr. Shad Hamstetter did the science behind that. He is considered the father of self-affirmations. Positive affirmations that, again, that's the self-talk that you tell yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. And we, through the hero, the encouraging portion, we speak to our children. And I just had a conversation earlier today with someone, and we were talking about test scores and how the state of Texas are so demanding with that.
Test scores,
yeah. And how other countries are so different with, the whole process of testing and they teach values, in these other countries, while we are sitting here setting up our children with self-esteem issues, not that there's anything with testing, but if they do not get the adequate resources and confidence to know that they can. Victor and I were talking to, remember the one that they were so stressed out?
Yeah, they were coming up on the STAR test week, okay? These are elementary and middle school students that we had to work with them and we taught them how there's an inner critic always criticizing them, always criticizing others, always criticizing their circumstances.
Correct.
We taught them how to talk back to the inner critic. It's like, just because the inner critic says something, you don't have to believe it.
That's right. Yeah.
So-
Where is that voice really
Yeah.
coming
So,
from?
yeah.
Where is that voice? We had a situation with someone here recently that was going through something, and or actually, there was one specific time where we, did facilitated a group dynamic session with students who all go to school together, had no idea what they were struggling with, their struggles. We've called students up to the front to say, hey, look, the students come forth with these issues. How do we encourage this student? What is it that you would want the student to know? And I'm telling you, as these students started to just pour in advice and affirmations and encouragements, it was like there was just walls and
Yeah.
barriers.
Yeah.
Victor,
You also raise the energy in the room because, again, and that's contagious because you're really opening up their hearts
Correct.
to have empathy. It's like,
Yeah.
this person, we're going to do an exercise. And if you're referring to the one where I was the prop, I was depressed and needed
oh
encouragement.
yeah, that was one. No, this happened this past weekend. This
okay.
happened this past
All right.
weekend.
So anyway, these kids were they all kicked in to be an encourager to me, and they were all giving me hugs and giving me positive affirmations that I needed to believe in
And then
myself.
Victor starts crying. I see tears
Really? Oh my God.
running down. He's very sensitive. I mean, out of everything else, he starts crying. I mean, these kids are just giving him
Yeah.
all these words of
They love Bambi.
Well, they loved Bombi with the card,
Yeah.
the first class.
Yeah, they
Remember
did.
that?
Yeah.
Every time they're drawing out little cards, they're like, Ms. Cruz, this one's for you. The very first class, I was like, Lord, this was like a year ago. And I'm sitting in my car, Stephen, with this encouraging card because I was just kind of like, okay, you let go of everything.
Yeah.
You let go of working. Last year or 2 years ago almost now, we've been doing this. And it's like, I was like, okay, God, am I on the right path? And when that girl gave me that card and gave me some beautiful words I needed to
She
hear,
didn't read it until she got in her car.
See, yeah.
I was like, thank you, I needed that.
She was ready to adopt that little girl
No,
because
you have to.
because it had such an impact in her.
These kids are amazing children.
Yeah.
No child, when I talk to adults and I talk to adults in their lives, and no child was born with BAD on their forehead. It's
Yes.
the environment,
Yes.
circumstances. So now when our kids come to our schools or come to us as an adult, they're looking for attention. They're looking
Correct.
for love, genuine love. That's
For
why
sure.
I always tell the educators, I say, kindergarten, first graders, they know when you're real, when you're fake.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
when you're fake, they won't talk to you. We can have,
Yes.
as we're sitting here, we can have 5 kids walk in this room and bypass you and I and say, hey, Miss Cruz, or the other way around, hey, Mr. Steven, how are you? And then you sit down, you're wondering, because they figured both of us were not real from day one.
That's because
You know?
they vibe you.
Exactly.
they feel your energy
The
from the
vibe.
heart. If the heart is
Exactly.
not there,
Yeah.
if it's just the brain, it's like you're just a
number.
robot. You're just
Exactly.
a robot.
Yes.
Well, you have to be approachable.
Yes.
I mean, I love when I go to my church because the church too, we've taught Hero there. And I see these little babies and they run, Miss Cruz, oh my God, sis, they and it's just like, oh my God, thank you so much. But going back, let's talk about, Stephen, you talked about the bullying, you talked about the cutting. What else are you seeing in the schools that our listeners need to hear that's happening right now? Oh, you said the distractions of cell phones.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
I know something that's just coming up across the board. I had sent a posting to Victor about suicide. What are you seeing there?
I think personally, I tell parents get involved. That's very, very needed. When I talk to parents, I know we have a lot going on. I say at least be an advocate for your child, even if it means 30% or 40%. That will help the educators fill in the gap. But what I see is I see more grandparents involved
That's
in
true.
the children's lives.
And extended caregivers,
Caregivers.
that the parents are not there.
That they're not there.
Whether they were deported,
Or not.
whether they left they abandoned the children, it's like we're seeing now families extended families having to step up.
Yeah.
And so again, that's going to create abandonment issues in the child that needs to be ameliorated through genuine caring and love.
Exactly.
So what that and one of the things that we are doing is we're fine tuning our parent curriculum.
We are going to be teaching parents because that's the root cause of this.
This is the root cause, and it's been awesome. I mean, I've worked with parents before. Did a session just about 2 nights ago where I had three adults, and we did some curriculum activities. It was just through some coaching, but there is no vision for families' lives, and we know that at least having for parents to understand what areas they need empowerment to do self-checks.
Yeah.
Self-empowerment, it's not happening, especially when you're single parents and you're working
hard.
2 jobs, or there's a lot of conflict with people going through divorce. That's another issue. I was talking about divorce earlier, is that the commitment in relationships, where they fight and kids don't see endurance, how running with your partner, they just see somebody, hey, kick them out, kick them out. And so now these relationships are just, they don't have foundations. No foundation at home, no foundation at school, but within themselves. But yet, it's the school's fault because they're not letting God in there. You hear so many people talking about that, and I'm like, this is first and foremost, no one can take God out of anywhere.
No way. It's all from
Number
them.
2, it's the fact that at home, the values are not being taught. I've seen parents, Victor, sit at the table with their child, beat their child because they couldn't do their homework. 1. 2, I have seen children, the parents tear down by words. You're a dummy, you're a failure, you can't do it. I bet you if I gave that homework to the family, to the parent,
For the parents.
they couldn't even do it.
Couldn't do it. Yep.
They couldn't even do it. But if we educated the parents to say there are resources, such as United Health Services, if you need mental health, there are resources such as, there was tutorial service. Tutorial service. I recalled I had to get my daughter, and she rags me on this, because I couldn't read with her. It was just something that I could not do with her, but I was like, you know what? I know of a tutorial service, and I'm going to hire someone and I know a lot of parents can't do that, but I scrapped up my money to say, you are going to have a tutorial service so someone can read with you and do math with you when I can't do it.
Can't do it, exactly.
Because I could not take on that time or trying to understand, because I was also going to school or doing things, but it was like, hey, can you sit with us both? And now there's free services, Brother Stephen. There's services out there that are free, community, for your children if you cannot afford tutorials.
Yeah.
Or,
there are resources out there. There are a lot of resources out there. You just have to ask, and that's why, like, for our services, like when we get kids referred to us, for example,
Correct.
what I do, what we do as a company is you refer a child to us that's acting of having anger issue, outbursts, or going to depression or anxiety due to divorce in the family or whatever it's going on. What I ask my team to do is to find out there are other siblings in the home. Because you might have a child that's showing an outward outburst, and you have 3 other siblings that don't want to add to that pressure to mom or dad in their home. They hold it in. So because of the service that we render, our service is Medicaid-based. So what we do is our team will do a full wraparound service for the rest of the sibling. Because if you're helping one that's acting up, and you're not helping 3 of them in the house, and they live in the same home, they go through the same trauma.
Right.
So
The child is a product of the environment. And
Correct.
so if you don't treat the environment, the system
is a waste.
the system is going to push back, and whatever good you did is going to be kicked out because
Yes.
that has a more dominant influence.
Influence in the house.
There we
exactly.
get into the science of Virginia Satir's work on family therapy to where different family members end up playing different roles. And
Correct.
usually the one that acts up is the rebel. That's the one that displaces the dysfunction
Function in the home.
in the home. And so that's what you're dealing with. This is a safety valve of what is happening at home. And so, yeah, you can shut off the safety valve, but the family system is still going
still
to
going,
continue
so,
to build that pressure.
Yeah.
And the child is going to continue to suffer.
That's true. So
Yes.
we try to do the full wraparound services, and once we do that, we've had a healthy home.
Sure.
That's why when Vicky was doing the wraparound services for the district, and I always talk to my wraparound specialists, they might send me 10, 20 referrals, and one may say, yes, I'll take that service. And say, well, that's just only 120 I sent to you. I say, it's okay. And I always give that story about the shepherd that left 99 and went after the one that was missing. You know what I'm saying? I say, let's help. That's one family that you've brought light to, that you have solved a problem that they were dealing with. Now we can work with the other 20 or the other 19 that's
Right.
left, you know?
Sure.
And it happens. So those are the challenges that we have. It's about us coming together as a
Correct.
unit, as a village, and say, hey, it could be me.
Yeah.
So tell us specifically about the services your agency renders. You just said that your cases are mostly Medicaid.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what services you provide.
We provide, our services are Medicaid based. We do accept Medicare some and some private insurance.
Okay.
And now, like I said, media is talking about mental health. We do have families now that are actually that will pay out of pocket.
Okay.
And if they cannot pay, what I do, I always find resources to get agencies, nonprofits that can
Good.
actually render the service. That's
Good.
what we do, because it's a lot going on. Because we
Sure.
have the question I always ask our families: was a child born here? Our parents don't know that. They figured, oh, because I am not a legal immigrant in this country, my kid can benefit. I said, no, as long as that child is an American citizen, that child qualifies for Medicaid.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that. I said, yes. And then we get them signed up to get the service so that the kids can get the help they need, you know. And then for the moms or the parents that need help, we will refer them to other agencies that will deal with the parents that don't have any insurance. Sometimes we actually give them some services, free services as well, to keep the family healthy.
Yes.
That's what we do, you know. So it's been a challenge, but now there's an uptick where our families are realizing, and I always tell them, I say, you have Medicaid, your kid qualified, take advantage of that and get the help that your kid needs, you know. So our services go in that direction. And with our services, we're year round. When school is out, like when you're out, when you refer kids to me, we continue, because it takes 2 days a week for the child to go back to the old ways. So for us, we follow our kids from elementary school to middle school to high school. We follow our kids to college, if need be, you know. So we're year-round services. That's why you have to have that service going on, because if you don't continue that service with a child, they pick up the bad habit again, they're back to square one. But at least the family know who they can reach out to. They become familiarized with our company and realize that someone is there on the other side to talk to them and help them. And not just only that, we work with some behavioral hospitals.
Good.
We do. I have behavioral hospitals that I work with. I get calls where on a Saturday or Sunday, my child has a mental breakdown or is under the influence. So I refer them to a hospital that I know that this child won't be a statistic.
Good.
That they'll be taken care of for 10 days
Correct.
or 8 days.
Yeah.
You know, so when they're referring them, I say, hey, my baby's coming to you. Because our philosophy as a company is your child is our child.
Why don't you go ahead and give us your contact information for your agency and how can people can contact you?
Yeah, my agency is United Human Services, and my number is 713-446-9677. People say, Stephen, you're crazy giving out your personal number. I said, no, it's a mission for me and for our company.
Right here, high
You know,
five.
so
It's a
That's
calling.
it, brother.
It's a calling.
It's a calling. He's so passionate.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I get calls my call is 7 days a week. So I take calls. So if you call me, I will talk to you. I'll fill out a referral form for you, and I'll forward it to the office. And guess what? We have bilingual team. We have translators that will help you. And main thing is that when a referral comes to us, basically, we will send out a referral form.
Correct.
You have to fill out a consent form. So to make it easy to our parents, as parents, please ask someone in our office to fill out that consent form with you to help you fill it out.
Correct.
They will guide you through that process because our goal is to get to that child,
Sure.
to get that help. And the good thing, that's 3 insurance companies that we work with that allows us to do both counseling and mentorship. Basically, all QMHP, which is the qualified mental professional health professionals, will go to the homes. Because some of these families don't have transportation to
That's
come
true.
to our office. Because our office is on 59 and Bel Air. That's where our office is at. But guess what? Some parents don't have transportation. They might have transportation, but they don't have gas money.
Yes.
So guess what? The child is losing.
Correct.
So what we do is, with the insurance that have allowed us to do both counseling and mentorship, life skills, and all that stuff, which we work with our QMHP, we will go to the home and work with them because we have a hybrid system, which we do telehealth and the QMHP will work with. So that's basically what we do. Our goal is to get to that child and get that help that child needs. At the same time, with our QMHP, they'll do a wraparound services with the family to observe, does this family need food?
Yeah.
And lights, and direct them where they can get all this help. That's what we do.
So you become a surrogate
Yes.
wraparound.
Yeah,
aid.
that's
We
what we do.
have to, though.
Yes,
we
we
have
have
to
to.
be that because there's just no way that we can all tackle in. I mean, tackle in. I mean, and it goes for everything. I mean, I did wraparound before wraparound was wraparound over in we did it with the homeless community because it's
that's
like there's
hard.
no way that unless we empower those that are empowering others, us empowering one another. I have to empower United Human Services.
Yes.
We have to empower
Yes.
you guys.
Yes, you
Because
did.
I mean, you are also in the forefront. We're in the forefront, and that's the only way it's going to go. It's not about being a barrier towards one another, but it's being a carrier.
A carrier, exactly.
A carrier and
Yes.
say, hey, we've got each other.
Yes.
And that's what I appreciate about United, what you do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, United Health Services, if you're watching this guy is a rock star. And so they have someone that literally
have a
is
great
truly
team.
passionate about
Yeah.
what you do.
But we have
We're
to.
3 minutes out. So.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
But honestly, it's about that village concept.
Correct.
And the founders of a company that I work for, that's the mindset.
Yes.
We don't leave any child behind. We work with pediatric clinics as well around Houston and surrounding areas.
Good.
So when they refer a kid to us, we don't refer back to the clinic. If we can't service the kids, we'll find resources
Correct.
to service the kids.
Correct.
And then if we can't find resources, then it goes back to the clinic. And they love that because we are trying to accommodate and to do everything we can for this family because the family came to us because they have a need.
Correct.
And we're here to fill that need that they have. What is mental health? It's still the big elephant, but guess what? Mental health we all go through it.
That's right.
It deals with how we deal with emotion, psychological, and social well-being of ourselves.
That's right.
And we can eat that elephant one bite at a time. okay?
Exactly.
one bite at a time.
We don't have to feel helpless and hopeless.
That's right. And that is, we thank you viewers for watching this video, for listening to our Stephen Thomas here, and for following us on Facebook. Really important that we work this together. Now more than ever, our children needs us. We know that. But there is help.
Yeah.
And there's a hero. There's a
Yes.
hero within you.
Correct.
Right? There's a hero within each of us. And we have to be that hero for ourselves to understand that there is. And that's one thing that we can say about our Hero Network is basically to cover those areas, whether it's socio-emotional, and what you guys are doing. We love it. We're looking forward. We're going to connect with you on some of the events we're doing, some of the things, we
I already
need.
recruited him.
Oh, you did? Oh, great. So some of the things that we need, like transportation. I'm throwing my wish list out there, y'all. Okay, wish list, hero, we need. Okay, we have our coaches, we have partners, we have our network, we have our bulletins. We have our teen talks. We are going to have our parent talks to sit there and to really be a solution for what we need. Okay? Hero is a solution. They say, Houston, we have a problem. Hero says, Houston, we have a solution. All right? And this is about laying everything down and coming together as one. Because what we believe is that if we can change Houston, we will change our nation.
Correct.
Houston has what it takes. Houston has leaders. We have servant leaders. We have the people to take to do what it takes to change the needs that we have here in our whole nation. So let's work together. Follow us on Facebook. Victor, you want to give them the lowdown where we're at?
We are at the Servants of Christ, Servants of Christ Lutheran Church down in South Houston, and that is the home base of Hero Academy. But we're taking this to other locations, so we're not limited by space. We will go anywhere in Houston if we can collaborate with you.
Absolutely. We are expanding into East Houston. We have location here in North Houston, but everything is a process, and it takes you. It takes the village. It takes us.
It takes a village.
And join Victor next Tuesday. Follow us on Mission One USA to get the information as to where we're going to be at. Church Family of Hope. Thank you so much. Near Mason
And I have
Park,
to give
Easton.
my email address. Is
Yeah,
that
go
okay?
ahead. Email.
Please, if you can, call me at 713-446-9677. If I don't answer, leave a message or send me a text. I'll respond because I'm all over the county working. Or you can send me an email at sthomas@unitedhumanservices.com. And
Thomas
yes,
at United
humanservices.com. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Great. And like Victor says, we're at the Servants of Christ, and we'll be at the Church of Family Hope next week. Information out there. But we are on LinkedIn, Twitter, what other ones?
TikTok,
TikTok,
Facebook,
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So we're out there.
Yes.
We're out there. And we need you to share it. We need you to invite families to come over, and we're excited. We love you. We thank you for watching us. And until next week, make it the best one ever.
Thank you.
Thank
it's
you.
about a village.
great
It's
week.
about the village.
It's
Thank
about
you
a
all.
village. Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Atlanta Radio.